I told them, well, cash offer wise, we're not a good fit, but we can come close to that number if the seller is willing to give it to us on terms. He thought about it. He's like, okay, like, what do you mean? Like, how much? I'm like, well, depending on what she needs as a down payment. That's all. She is the bank. I just need her to give us how much she needs, and then we can,
Right.
we'll work on the deal, see if it makes sense for us. So he's gonna talk to her about that because she's looking to purchase another home.
Okay, cool. Let's take a look at it real quick. Admit. Okay. Hey, good morning. All
Good
right.
morning.
So it's the property. Mario is a house that's is it a tear down or is it not a tear down?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is it a tear
It's
down
a
or
teardown. Okay.
it is a tear down?
Yes, it's a teardown. Yes. What did you hear? Because I know my
So
headset just
I
went off.
heard that the property is the property had a car that drove into it, so it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
qualify for financing. Which is what we want. It's an all cash deal,
Mm-hmm.
and you approach the agent and you said the only way that this is going to work is either all cash or seller financing. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Do we have any idea how much it's going to cost to fix this property up?
No, I did not calculate the costs.
Okay. All right.
I just called them.
Okay. Cool. So let's assume that. Is there any part of the house that's salvageable? And this is good. I'm glad we're talking about this because you guys are going to come across deals that are going to be like fire damage, water damage, right? And so here's the question. The question is with like the fire damage or the water damage stuff, like the problem with fire is that fire will engulf the part of the house, right? But it can also cause smoke damage to other parts of the wood. And so there is still that smell of root of smoke and all that other stuff that goes on. So we can try to use companies to remediate it, but I guess the question is how much of the house is actually salvageable versus a teardown. And so these are the kind of questions that we should ask the agent. Now, I'm going to level with you guys. Most agents aren't investors, and most agents aren't contractors. So most of them aren't going to really know. Okay, they're not going to know. They're not going to have any ideas. I'm a broker. I've been a broker for 26 years, and the truth is, most of the time, all I did was just buy and sell real estate. I never dove into being an investor. And so, if you ask the agent these questions, they may or may not know. But what we need to find out is number one, how much of the house is really salvageable? Can we salvage it, or is it a complete teardown? Because if it is a complete teardown, then we're probably going to have to value it only as land, right? And if we do it only as land, then the question is, can the seller finance something like this? Do they have a loan on it? They own it free and clear, right? Is that what I heard you say?
Correct.
Okay, so let's try and find out. If there's any part of the house that's salvageable. That's really what's most important.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for all of you that are working deals right now, I got some great news. Okay. Here's the other thing that's important. And I posted this last night, but we just brought aboard a new team member. His name is Ryan. Ryan is a licensed appraiser. Okay. So Ryan is going to he's now part of our staff. He is on board, part of our staff, and it's his job to review all of the offers just before we really go into contract and just before we sign off on it and send it PMD. So anytime you guys have a question about what I would do is number one, I would submit the offer, try to lock it up under contract, okay? And if you guys need help with those formulas, that's what we're here for. But I just want you to have the confidence that there's always going to be a second set of eyes reviewing it anyway, all right? Because I think the biggest fear that we all have sometimes is like, well, what if I get this under contract and it's too high, or I didn't account for the repairs, and now I'm stuck with this deal. As a buyer, we can cancel contracts until we've completed our inspections. Okay, we're not going into any contract with our inspection continues to be removed. So just be confident enough that if something does happen, we at least have a parachute and a second set of eyes to review all of the deals before we're really locked in. Okay, that's really important. And I want you to feel good about what you're doing, and to have like a sense of integrity in it, and to know that there's people behind you that are backing this up and reviewing all those offers as well. Okay, so I'm excited about it personally, just knowing that I got a licensed appraiser reviewing all of this stuff for me as I'm working. So what that does is it gives us the ability to then say, okay, I can spend most of my time just going out there trying to find the deals, trying to negotiate the deals, and trying to make these deals all nice and shiny, so that if it isn't a wholesale deal, we can do a creative deal and then put our fee on top of it and then sell it out as a wholesale deal for investors, if that makes sense. All right. Okay. So what we've been doing is, I know during the week we've been talking to everybody and we've been trying to do like accountability. Okay, and that's really, really important. So I know that we set some goals in terms of how many agents that we're talking to per day if we're doing the on market stuff. Now, if you're working about 2 hours a day, then there should be about 7 conversations with agents. But what I'd like for us to do too is to also consider how many offers are we actually submitting per day. Okay, so you want to try to set a goal for yourself depending on the number of hours that you're working. So if you're working 2 hours a day, you want to try to get at least 1 to 2 offers out per day. All right. If you're submitting 1 to 2 offers per, let's just say per hour that you work, 2 hours per hour, 1 offer per hour that you're working, then the truth is you will lock up 3 to 4 deals per week. And out of those 3 to 4 deals per week, probably 1 to 2 will actually close and turn into something. All right. I'd like to get the percentage higher, and that's why we brought the appraiser aboard. But the truth is, deals fall out. That's just a part of real estate. So as a broker, I can speak from experience that even when we go into escrow, representing normal mom and pop, representing normal buyers, the reality is not all escrows close. Okay, so you want to make that, your mindset. You want to make sure that your numbers reflect that. So if you're submitting 5 offers a week, that's 20 offers a month. That means that you're actually going to close probably 2 to 4 deals per month out of those 20. That's the numbers. Okay, so keep that in mind and start setting some goals for yourself in terms of how many offers can I submit. Now the next question is, okay, so how do I submit these offers, right? So there's 2 ways. You're either submitting them directly to the agent, okay, and if you haven't been provided with the corporate documents that we use, you guys are all part of the team. So we're all part of this team together, okay? And the benefit of being part of the team is you have the brand recognition, the names, and you also have the advantage of saying, look, part of our team is a 26-year broker who's been doing this for 26 years, who knows how to do this stuff. And so sometimes agents, when they hear that and you tell them, look, we know how to do creative deals. We've been doing them. Okay, this guy really knows how to do creative deals. So you can let them know that you're working with someone that knows how to structure these deals, number 1, and number 2. And then number 3, you have the proof of funds that we have, the financial backing, and you've got the articles of incorporation that we have in multiple states. So when you share that with these agents, right, and you say, look, this is my team, this is who I'm working with, it just makes them feel more confident going to bat for you and submitting those offers for you, right? Versus like, if you're trying to do it all by yourself. That's all. Okay, so if you don't have those docs, okay, just so you know, they're available at docs, docs dot Goya, GOYA.GG. All right, so it's docs.goya.gg, and that has all of our articles of incorporation. It has all of the proof of funds in that folder. It's like a Google Doc folder where if they go to that folder, they'll have access to all of those documents. And so if an agent ever questions you, like, well, who are you? Where are your proof of funds? Where's your articles? Where's the corporation? Where are you registered? We have a corporation in California and we have a corporation in Florida, and we're going to set up some more corporations because there are some states that require you to be incorporated in that state in order to buy. Not all, but some do. So as we start tackling those other states, then what we're going to do is we're going to register new corporations as well. All right, so docs.goya.gg. So the goal is, okay, so how can I submit at least 1 offer per day? How can I do that? How do I get to that level, right? And that's where you're talking to agents and you're calling up the agents off of Zillow and you're basically saying, hey, I'm interested in this property. I want to submit an offer on it, and you ask them the 6 questions. And I've gone over this multiple times, but I'll do it again because I think it's important that we hear. So number 1, John, do you have any offers on this property? Jane, number 2, have you had any offers on this property? Number 3, what were those offers like? Right, and you wait and see what they say. Number 4, now they may say, what are the options? I mean, Michael, you've been doing this. What are some of the things that they could say if you say to them, what range were those offers coming in at?
First, biggest thing I can say that I've heard is that I can't share that information with you.
Good. Okay.
It doesn't work out like that. It's not fair to the people buying. The second thing that I would say they've said is, well, they're at asking price, or they're right at asking price.
That's
and then through conversation you'll hear that offer that they said was at asking price was $10,000 less, and they're thinking about it, right? They're on the fence about it. So at asking price to them is just one of those things.
Got it. That's a response. So that's something. When you hear that, you just say, "Okay, no problem. Thank you for sharing that with me." And then the next question right after that is going to be, "Well, what will the sellers do if they don't sell?" Right? I'm not sure if you guys have asked that question yet, or if you've gotten comfortable, but that's an important question to
Mhm.
ask. So you want to ask the agent, "What will the seller do if they don't sell?" All right. And then our response to that is going to be, well, we wait and see what the agent says, but the agent is going to say, again, I can't share that with you. Or you're going to get an agent that's going to say, well, they have to sell. They have no choice. They're in default, or it's a reverse mortgage, or the heirs want their money, or they could share. So it really just depends on the agent that you get. Okay. And the more confident you are about asking those questions, the more likely that you're going to get the response that you need to be able to extract and then diagnose the situation and to figure out the best way to structure an offer if you're going to structure one. And then the last question is there any flexibility in price? All right. And then the agent says yes, or the agent says no. And then you basically go back, crunch your numbers, and then you call them back and try to submit an offer. All right. Now, right now, here's what we're seeing. I just want everybody to know this. Here's what we're seeing. In order for us to get cash investors to buy any type of wholesale deals, that the deals need to be about 55 to 60% of ARV minus repairs, and then minus whatever fee you want to make. Okay, that's what we're seeing right now. All right. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means you got to figure out what the property is going to be worth once it's fixed up. Okay. Then you subtract, the 55 to 60%. Then you subtract the repairs, and then you subtract your fees. I want us to have a minimum standard. Our minimum standard is no less than 15K in any type of assignment fees. Okay. That should be your minimum standard. I know that there's other places where you'll see deals, and you'll see deals for like 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000. But if you set a minimum standard for yourself, and you basically say to yourself, I am not accepting anything less than $15,000 in assignment fees per transaction or per deal, like that's important because that you've set the tone for how you're going to conduct your business. And what will happen is you will see that you will reach that mark a lot more. Whereas if you start saying, oh, I'll take 2,000 for it, I'll take 3,000 for it. Set a minimum standard. Try to make your minimum standard no less than 15. And if you don't have access to our calculator where it shares with you, how much you want to make, let me know and I'll share the calculator with you right away. But you can put your fee in there. Okay, it's important. Make that minimum standard. So subtract your 15K minimum. If you can get more, but minus 15K, and that's the price you want to get it at. Now, again, Mario and I have been working on some deals together. When we start submitting these all cash offers to these agents, like we got one property that's probably worth, Mario, how much was that one? It's probably worth about 440 or 450 in Georgia. And when we did our numbers and ran the cost to rehab it, ran the cost to with our fee, ran the cost to do everything else, what we discovered was we needed to make an offer of about 250 all cash. 250 all cash, and they're asking 425. So you can imagine what the agent said when we submitted the offer. Mario, what did they say?
Oh man, they were upset.
He's
They
like,
were
not
upset, man.
interested, right? Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, here's the deal, though. We did present creative options to him first. We presented a creative option to him first, and they said they don't want creative. We want an all cash offer. Just submit your all cash offer, and so that's what we did. And then in the end, they just didn't like the all cash offer. Fine. Now we can go back and revisit it and try to do creative again. But that also means that we have to have a watch list. So everybody needs to be keeping track of the certain properties that they've been working on. And keep. Sorry, my Skype just does not stop. Let me turn this off. So it's important that you have a watch list of a minimum of 10 to 15 properties that you're watching at all times. 10 to 15 properties that you're watching at all times. And that list is going to change on a regular basis. Why? Because those properties might sell. They may take them off the market. You never really know, okay? But you got to watch those properties because those are ones that you've made contact with, you did some work on, and you'd be surprised the number of deals that you're going to get just by pure enthusiasm and follow up, and just keep going back and just keep going back and just keep going back. Eventually they get worn down by the market. That's just part of what it is. All right. Hey Whitney, how are we doing this week? How did we do this week? Were we able to reach out to any agents? Or are we doing direct to seller? What's the strategy? What are you guys working on right now? You're muted.
All righty. Well, I'm Sabrina. My last name is Whitney.
Got it.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. This week I definitely did make a few calls. My calls kind of went like we just recently discussed, I realized that talking to agents that they really drive the conversation. So sometimes it's very difficult to even try to get your questions out because they're so busy asking you 101 questions. So that was an encounter that I experienced. As of today, I plan on
What were they
calling.
asking you? What were they asking you when you called?
They was just asking, questions about, oh, can you come see the property?
Okay.
Have you seen the property? And then they go on a whole big old spiel about certain things. If I ask one question, like, okay, well, do you have any offers right now? And then they'll answer that, but then go into a whole nother tangent about something else. So sometimes it's hard to really drive the conversation, so therefore you can get the information you want. But after doing some script practicing with myself at home, I kind of got a way that I could try to narrate the conversation a little bit better to redirect this and answer my questions. As of today, plan on making a call and an offer on a property that's in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a fixer upper, but it's in pristine condition as far as it comes to living, and it's very livable, so it doesn't need any like of the electrical and foundation and work like that. It's just solely needs to be remodeled. So just like new floors, paint the wall, maybe put up some better doors, new
That's a
cabinets.
$45 a square foot rehab. So whatever
Yeah.
the footage is, you'll multiply times 45. That's probably your rehab cost. And then round up. Always
Okay.
round up to the nearest 10, right? Just round up.
Okay.
So if it's 74, round it up to 80. Always
Okay.
overestimate repairs. Always underestimate ARVs. It'll
Okay.
help you in your business. Trust me. Always, always, always.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So with that being said, I'm gonna definitely go back through because I did crunch down some numbers just to get an idea what my offer may be before asking questions and reaching out to the seller. I was just waiting until after the meeting was over, then I was gonna get that going.
Cool.
But yes, I'm definitely gonna do that. And like I said, the property is definitely like you can live in it once you fix it up because that's what it says on the listing. I want to just call it, get some more information, and throw them an offer. I mean, it's really not too far off of what they got it listed as, so it may be a good offer to still present to them. It's probably like 50, what, or 60K minus what they have listed.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and it still works within the numbers really well. So, because they have a property that just sold back in May,
Okay.
and you could tell it was a fixer upper. It was completely staged. It was, vacant. You could tell it was completely remodeled, and I use that as my comp.
Good. Okay. So that's our comp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I use that's my comp. So even with using that as my comp, the price they got it listed as is 199.9.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's not too bad because the houses in the area are selling for like 250, 240 as they get rehabbed up. So I feel like, taking it down maybe 60K, maybe even a little less, depending on my new numbers once I do the square footage with the rehab. I think it might be a good offer. I think they might accept it.
Okay.
And we'll be in business. So I'll be in touch.
Okay. Good luck with that. Now, if they have a problem with an all cash offer that's a little low, okay, so just so I don't lose my train of thought, we're going to talk about how we can convert that into creative right after I touch on this point. If an agent asks us, because you brought up something very, very valuable, if an agent asks us, have you seen the property? Where are you calling me from? Or when can you see the property, right? Because look, let's be real here. I think that's something that we got to address. The fact is, we may not be in the markets that we're working in, right? So let's address that. Okay. Our response to that is, I've seen the property on Zillow. Listen, our fund buys properties all the time, okay? And we have local boots on the ground. So if we get to that point where I need to go in there and make sure that we see it, I'll have somebody ready for you. And then you go back to the next question. Now, if they say, who are you guys and what is this and who is the buyer and all that stuff, you can give them this website. Our website is the Goya Group, THE and then GOYA group.com, thegoyagroup.com. Okay, that's our website. That's our fund, if you will. Okay, and we're not big. Okay, we're not like. Have you guys heard of Blackstone?
No.
Okay, Blackstone is this huge fund that's going out there and they're buying up. They buy residential, they buy commercial. I think they just purchased this massive college dormitory campus in Texas. They're a fund that buys real estate. That's what they do. So if
Mhm.
if people know about companies like that, Blackstone, you just say, look, we're a much smaller version of like Blackstone. Okay, we're a fund.
Okay.
That's what we do. We buy. Okay. So you can give them the website and you say, look, this is who our fund is. Okay, I
Mhm.
work with them. I'm part of the team. I'm inside with them. That this is my group. And I said it yesterday, but if you guys need a corporate email too, let me know right away, and I'll set everybody up with a corporate email so that way when you send, you feel more confident. I really want you to feel confident about what we're all doing together, right? You feel different when you have that sense of integrity. So I'm going to give you that.
Yeah.
So Mario, I know I told you I would have it yesterday. I just got a little busy, but today, if anybody needs that stuff, we'll start setting up some emails for you guys today. Okay. Now, sometimes people ask, what does the Goya group stand for? They think it's a last name. I'm going to share with you what it really stands for, but don't you probably don't want to tell people this, but it stands for get off your ass.
Hey.
All right. So
Mm-hmm.
that's who we are. That's the group. So share the website. Okay.
Okay.
And then that way you guys can feel comfortable. If they ask, who are you? How are you going to see the property? Have you seen the property? My response all the time is, look, I'm looking at it on Zillow. I see the photos. We do this enough to where I know what's going on. And if we get to the point where I need to get somebody to physically go in there, don't worry, I got somebody for you. Okay, I'm part of a big team. We got a big team. I have local boots on the ground. Okay.
Okay.
And then, okay. Let's talk about what happens when we make an all cash offer. It's too low, and then they say, no, that's too low. How can we convert it to creative? So what we've been doing, right, and some of you have seen me do this live. What I've been doing is I've been negotiating a higher price, okay, and then we get really creative. The beauty about getting creative is that you can make this as creative as you want to be. All right. So I want you to think like sometimes we'll see these auto commercials or these mattress commercials. Well, not really auto so much, but mattress commercials. What you see them selling mattresses, and they'll be like 12 months interest only, no payments, or we'll knock off the taxes, or they do some crazy things with like mattress companies, right? And not only them, but even like furniture, audio, stereo, whatever it might be. Those type of deals, as crazy as it sounds, and structuring things like that, you can do that in real estate. Okay, you can do it. People do it all the time, even on big commercial buildings. They do creative things all the time. The thing is, they don't teach other people how to do it. You can get as crazy as you want to be so long as the buyer and the seller agree to it in writing. If both parties agree to it in writing, it doesn't make a difference. It makes no difference. The escrow company, the closing attorney, the agent it doesn't matter. They have to follow the orders of what both the buyer and the seller agree to in writing. Period. End of story. I had one closing attorney that said, no, we can't do something like that. That down payment is ridiculous. $5,000 down payment, and they're giving you title to the property, and you guys aren't making payments for 6 months, and then you're making payments on 7 months. We can't do something like that. I said, who's we? It's the seller and me. And if the seller agrees, and I agree to it, and we do it in writing, you're the closing attorney. Your job as the neutral third party is to do what we tell you to do in writing. All right. So, and again, the only reason I have that kind of posture is just because of the number of years that I've been doing this. So I want to extend that type of energy and that type of posture to you so that you have that same type of mindset. So you're like, dude, we can do this. So if somebody says that your cash offer is too low, hey, no problem. Let's try to get it creative. So I can come up a little bit on price. I just need you to work with me on terms so that I can get it a little creatively, and then we can try to structure. And if you need help with that, we've been structuring like 6 months no payments, low down payments. We extended out 10 years. So far right now, my average is about 10 years. I just saw Pace do a crazy one in Texas with like 40 units, and he did it for like 50 years. I mean, that's like, I tip my hat to him.
Is a guy's name Mario too?
Yeah, Mario's the one that helped
Right?
him. Yeah, he's the one. He's in Texas. Mario's the one that helped him get it.
Mm.
And Mario does a lot of pay-per-click advertising. That's what he does.
Mm.
So we do pay-per-click advertising too, but one of the things that Mario does is he does a lot of pay-per-click advertising. Anyway, we will eventually graduate to that, and I will teach you guys out all of that stuff. Don't worry about that. Pay-per-click advertising is expensive, though. I'm not going to lie. It costs a pretty penny. But anyway, so we can do the same thing with residential, multifamily, small commercial, heavy commercial. It doesn't matter. We just have to get a hold of the seller. And we have to get a hold of the agent. And unfortunately, you guys, part of what you're going to be doing, you will start to feel like you're having to educate the agent. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I'd rather you acknowledge that now and just understand. Don't be offended by agents being ignorant to this or not being knowledgeable in this, because they aren't. We don't teach it within our communities as brokers and as agents, unfortunately. So you will be butting heads with some of these agents. Don't take it personal. But there is going to be a certain degree of education that we're going to have to come in. I'm sorry about that, my dog. I'm used to stuff like this. I mean, my kids are having to teach me, like how to use TikTok correctly and stuff. So, you're just going to have to educate some of these agents and be patient with them. If they come off rude or they come off short, it's just because they don't quite understand it yet. But if we can just massage it in and help them understand without fighting them. Okay, the more you fight with them, the more you're going to lose. We need to come from a place of educating, from a place of, look, we've done this already. We've done it with other closing attorneys. We've done it with other closing title companies. We've done it with other sellers. So I know we can do it here. I just need you to be a little bit more open to the idea versus saying, hey, you're dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. I've done that too. I've gotten frustrated. I've sent them messages that I regret. It's part of what it happens. So I want to coach you guys so that you don't fall into the same traps and the mistakes that I've made when you're getting frustrated and you feel like you're fighting with these agents, because some of them just don't know. So now we just got to try to calmly and professionally educate them so that they understand. Look, we can do this creatively. If my all cash offer doesn't work, maybe I can make it happen creatively. And there's no shame in saying, look, with the interest rates going up, the prices are going to keep going down. So it's better if we work together on this and try to find a solution for your seller. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Cool. So it's 9:29. I promise everybody I don't like these things carrying on more than 30 minutes just so that everybody can get to work. So I appreciate you guys being on the call on Monday next week. Remember, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 minutes. That's all we need to make sure that we're all connected and we're all sharing ideas. I appreciate all of your input, man. You guys gave all good input today. So let's get to work. Have a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans. We appreciate everybody, who has served for us and paid for our freedom. All right, you guys? Okay.
Have a good one.
Take
Hey,
care.
you guys have an awesome day and a great weekend. Thank you again, Paul.
Bye.
Later, guys.
See you guys. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.